Hey guys, it's Christopher Lewis, and welcome to Dating Intelligence, the podcast where we give relationship advice from dating to marriage and everything else in between. And always with the goal of helping you to continuously be the best you at all times.
So if you're looking for real, honest information to help you navigate your relationships, we've got you covered.
We've got you covered. Hey girl, what's up, Jamie? How are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. It's another episode, another day, guys. We're here at Sticky Paw Studios. We've got our producer Chase back in the background. What's up, Chase?
Yo, yo.
Nice. All right. So, guys, we are going to jump into this. Jamie, I want to know all about you, but I can do that on my personal time. So we're going to get this episode going because we have a great guest on today, and we are limited timing, but it's going to be good. All right.
Okay.
So our guest today is a TikTok star and social media influencer who is a Utah-based Mormon and is best recognized for sharing her lip sync, dance, comedy, and parenting content with friends on Mom Talk. This incredible, gorgeous mother of two has created quite the stir recently with her divorce and eye-opening news. Please welcome Taylor Frankie Paul to the show. What's up, Frankie?
Hi, guys. Thank you so much.
God.
Are we calling me Frankie?
Because I was going to ask you that, but
It's
is that
Taylor.
okay?
You can call me Frankie.
All right. Well, I just like, that's what her full name says in our stuff. And I just want to just do you right by giving your full name because it's such an awesome name.
Thank
So
you.
do you go by Frankie at all ever?
I was always embarrassed of it growing up.
Okay. That's such a great name.
People, that was the only thing to stand out, I guess, like the username was all taken.
Okay.
So I was like, that's my middle name though.
Okay.
But yeah.
I think it fits you to the T. I love
Really?
Frankie, actually. Yeah. That's why I figured if you went by Taylor Frankie,
So
I
he
was
just
like,
picks the name for
I'm
you.
sorry.
Let's
right.
go with Frankie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, before we get anything, I just got one more line to say. First of all, I just want to say, hey, what's up, girl?
Hi.
All right, now-
Thank
now
you
I can
for
let-
having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Thanks for making the trip out. By the way, her body is freaking off the chart.
Yeah.
I feel like you need to stand up and give like a little twirl.
Mine?
Yes, yours.
Not next to you, but nice try.
I was
She
like,
does,
look at her
yeah.
arms, her abs.
Yeah,
That
you're
is
crushing it.
you. And I'm about to get the rack. So.
Oh, well, let's bring her back on the show for that.
Yeah.
Don't tease me over here, girl. This is my last show of the day.
Can we get a sponsor here?
Seriously though, we're talking about it. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
That's great. All right, so we're going to get in right in this, Frankie. So how are you, first of all? And like James said, thanks for coming in. So let us know what's going on with you. I know you've been on kind of a little bit of a whirlwind right now. So let our audience know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm good today. It's been a rough month, but I feel like it's been really good this last week because I've been really trying to stay busy, kind of just like move forward. Like, do you want me to tell what happened, or are we gonna go into
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, just go right ahead because we have a special episode for what we discussed that we'll get into. But you'd share whatever you got going on.
Well, yeah, I am going through a divorce, so we're in the process of that now. And I basically came out online saying that we were in an open relationship, and it went all over because we're Mormons and we were in an open relationship, and then kind of soft swingers, if you
Right.
will, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, and I went out of the lines with our agreement, so I had an affair, and that's why we're getting a divorce, and we have 2 kids, so it's been really, really messy. But I went online to tell my story because it was already out there. Someone was confirming things, so I went on and kind of told my backstory. And then it blew up because I guess it was kind of just shocking that was what we were up to, I guess, or I was up to. But yeah, I feel like it's been really hard. This last month has been really emotional, but it's getting better, and I'm trying to get back into work. It's like I said in another podcast, I stepped in shit, and it's just time to like clean it off and move on.
I hear you. Well, one thing I have to say first of all is like thank you for sharing. And by the way, you're getting ahead of it. That's the best thing you can do because if there's rumors going on or hearsay, it's like you might as well get ahead of it and just tell your side of the story.
Yeah.
I think that's great. So kudos to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a mess, and unfortunately there were, other people involved, so it sucks. But if you are going to tell someone's drama, expect yours to come out too.
That's true. That's very true.
Yeah.
How's the relationship right now at this moment? I know you said it's about a month that you guys, I know you have a lot to deal with, but between you and your husband right now, going through divorce right now, how is it right now? Like, is it messy? Do you feel like it's kind of like, is it okay?
Yeah, it was messy in the beginning. It was very like, there's just all these emotions that came out, right? There was rage, it was like betrayal, and yeah, there was a lot, but now it's really good.
Okay.
I think he said that he's forgiven me, he's accepted it, and he's been doing really, really good. And I told him, I was like, good for you. Like, I can't relate. Like, I have my good days still and very bad days.
Of course.
But I also, like, I have, like, held in a lot of, like, I obviously hurt him in that way and betray him. So I hold a lot of that still, and that'll take longer for me to get over it. But he said he's forgiven me, and I'm thankful for that. But I have not forgiven myself for sure. And that will come with time, I think.
It will.
It will.
And people don't see that on TikTok because I'm smiling and I'm joking, and that's just my personality. I take humor when I'm in any situation. I try to. But I guess since I'm here talking about it, it's just like I'm not always happy.
Of course,
Majority of the time I'm not. But now,
Okay.
like in this situation, I guess.
Well, for anything else, like I said, it's with a bunch of guests that we've had over the past few weeks and stuff. It's growth, like things happen for a reason. If you guys are gonna discuss and do what how you decide to do what you want to do, which is totally fair, which is great. I feel like it's communication. So the communication lines were open, I feel. But just things happen, and we can't explain why they happen, but it happens. And now it's just either you move on or you accept it or you forgive. And apparently he sounds like he's ready to forgive. So.
Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up for anything crazy because you have a lot of life ahead of you, first of all. And it's just going to propel you to the next level of your life.
Yeah. I'm excited to what's to come. I kind of talked to you a little bit about this before, but it's just like I'm only 28, and I feel like there is life ahead, and I'm excited for the future.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. How are the little ones doing, by the way?
They're good. It was
Good.
an adjustment for them as well,
Yeah.
for sure. And that was like kind of the saddest part, is see them suffering. That was the hardest part. And then also we're learning divorce life. So I think both of you are familiar with that.
Yes.
Like the back and forth.
Right.
We started with like every other day, and we're like, ooh, that's a lot of back and forth. But we were like, I wasn't used to having not my kids, so we moved to every 2 days, and I still think it's a lot of back and forth. So we're just trying to navigate divorce parent life and learning it, and I think that's just going to come with time as well. You guys can maybe give me any tips if you want.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
you're
go ahead.
going to figure out what works best for you and your family, and that's what's important. Is what works for me and my family may not necessarily be what works
Yeah.
for you guys. So
Yeah.
over time, you're going to figure out what's the best fit for your family. But you said something that I love. You said, because my mindset was a little different than yours. I got divorced at 28 as well from my girl's dad, which you met because they picked you up.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking, because my kids were younger, I was like, oh, my life is over. Like, I'm 28 years old. How am I going to meet someone? I have 2 young kids. No one's going to want to date me. So I feel like you're already 10 steps ahead of me, because you said, I'm just 28. Like, you have so much life ahead of you. And I feel like your world is going to open up for you beyond what you can even imagine.
Yeah,
And it's going to be amazing.
Right.
I'm telling you right now. I promise.
Well, thank you. I look forward to that, because I did have those days where I'm like, oh my gosh, no one's gonna. But I'm like, this generation's a little different. Like, I feel like divorce is more a higher rate, and relationships in general, and just marriage. So I feel like there'll be there's a lot of people in my situation, my age and older and younger. So
Yeah.
I'm hopeful, but I could be wrong.
No, you're good.
right
And
on.
and your space it's normal to ride the wave and the roller coaster, because we have our highs and our lows. So some days it's going to eat you alive, and then other days you're going to feel amazing in your space and know that you're on the right track.
Yeah.
Especially
But-
in the first year, for sure. In
Yeah.
the first year.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been told it gets worse before it gets better, and I've been learning that.
Yeah.
That's very
Yeah.
true.
Well, all I can say is, for the most part, you had said something and asking us for advice, and you were saying, for both of you ladies, 28. I think mine was 40, 45
Okay.
for
Holy
me.
shit,
And
how old are you?
30 something. I'll always be 30 something. No, but literally, I was just like, what does this mean for me and my kids? Because so for us, we split time, but it was every other, let's say Tuesday, Wednesday, and then every other weekend. But then as the girls got a little bit older, of 2 years in, my ex was like, hey, I think because Sky, my oldest one is getting older. She's like, I think they want to be at home more because their friends are here. And I go, I have to look at that and accept that. And so I have them every other weekend now. So you'll know when it works, and you'll kind of play with it until the right formula works for your kids and for you.
Okay.
And it's never an easy answer, but it takes time, like Jamie said, to figure that out.
Yeah.
Now, as far as feelings wise, I was like, what does this mean for me? It sucks on both ends, no matter what. It's like you're breaking up a family. It's like you're out on your own. It's this whole new world out there.
Yeah.
It gets easier, but everything sucks at the beginning.
Gosh.
Any
yes.
breakup sucks. I'm sorry. You could be
Yeah.
10, 12, 14, well, not 10, but 15, 16, whatever it is. All relationship breakups suck. So
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
really, they do.
Yeah.
It's been awful.
Right. But it depends on how you look at it and how you move forward. And I appreciate the fact that, once again, you're getting ahead of it. That's already a win for you. And you're not actually allowing yourself to be the victim. So think of it that way. You're already ahead, way ahead.
Yeah, I don't play the victim. If anything, I'm the villain in this situation,
Yes.
and I know that.
Right.
I've accepted that. So
I like a good villain. You always get a good movie. With a good,
Stop.
well, I'm just saying, there's a good villain in good movies, right, Chase? That's all I'm saying.
That's right.
So, yeah, I admire you for putting yourself out there, first of all.
Thank
So that's
you.
all I'm trying to say.
I appreciate it.
Now, if I can ask you, how are your friends in this situation? You know, and I'm talking about the core group. Like I said, we're not going to delve. I don't care about names.
We don't
or
have to
anything
say
like that.
names.
Yeah.
But I just want to know, how are they handling their side of the fence? Easiest way for me to say it.
So the core group, I'm in contact with the person that I had, an affair with.
Mm-hmm.
So he is in the same boat. We're kind of just like helping each other through it. We're relating and going through the same things. We made messes on both ends, So
Right.
I feel like it's kind of a mess on both sides. We're just trying to, again, to like get our ducks in a row, and then we'll see where things go. I don't know with us where that is, if that's a friendship,
Okay.
anything, but yeah, just kind of time, because we're both going through the divorce process, and then the others not in contact really with them, so
Okay.
I hope they're doing well.
They've cut off all ties then, basically.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
See, I don't like that stuff.
Was that your doing or theirs? Or mutual?
It kind of just like naturally has gone that way.
Yeah.
We were like in contact, and then it's just like naturally just haven't heard. And it's been good to really see who your real friends are through all this. And regardless of what had happened, I think real friends are like, I don't care what you did, I stand by you type
Yeah.
of thing. And so it's been really eye-opening to see that I really didn't have a whole lot of real friends. There have been a few, but majority of them like scattered.
Okay. And see, and that's what I was saying. That's the stuff I don't like. It's just like, when the shit goes bad, it's like they run for the hills, and it's like,
Yep.
what happened to
Yeah.
this? What happened? And that's something that it sucks when it happens, because you do get to kind of weed out your friends, but they're going to regret that just as much down the long road, because eventually they're going to realize that, it wasn't just you and per se. Everyone's involved in a sense where they should have spoken up. Right now, if they really truly valued your friendship, they should speak up.
Sure.
They're just
Or
afraid.
they'd have your back.
Yeah.
So, because we're all imperfectly perfect in our own ways. So no one's better than anyone. So we all make mistakes, and
Yep.
that's part of being a friend, is kind of being there for you and not bailing when shit gets hard.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had to learn that, more like the hard way, I would say.
Okay.
But it's okay. It's been good, and like you said, it's just it opens your eyes and make new friends, and hopefully they're more real.
Yeah, definitely so. All right, so we'll continue with this, but we're gonna jump into the episode topic. So today's guys, we have Taylor, Frankie, Paul. I'm gonna keep saying that because I like the Frankie part of this on our show today. And thank you so much for being here today. And we're super excited to be in this episode with you. So today's episode is called "Whoa, What's the Rush?" Okay, let's all take a moment and think about this one. Do you remember what it was like to fall in love for the first time, and you felt like you couldn't breathe without that person? Or you've been dating since high school, and 6 years later you feel the pressure or think it's the right thing to do? Do you think that getting married at a young age is the right thing to do, or should you explore what life has to offer? And before we get any further, I'm going to say, before we all get in this debate, I just want to start off by saying that there is no right or wrong answer on this one. That's my disclaimer. Just like anything else that we do in life, it's a choice, and everyone has to experience their own journey. So leading off, like I know that we touched upon this yesterday. So what age did you get married at, by the way?
Met my husband at 21. We were married by 22, and then our first child by 23.
Okay. So meeting your husband at 21, how long did that courtship last?
8 months, and he proposed.
Wow. Now, going into this now, did you have a thing of like knowing where your life was going to be before marriage? What was Taylor's life like? Did you like, oh, I'm going to get married, Where did you see yourself?
That's actually an interesting question. I was like a partier.
Okay.
Like, pretty big partier. From high school, during like college years, I went to college for a little bit, and then by 21, I met my husband. So I dated and partied a lot, and that was like, it was more like I want to live it up before I get tied down, and that was like my mentality. And then still very young, 21. And then his thing was like, he was born and raised LDS, so he was like, I'm not going to marry a girl that drinks and parties. So he's like, you cut it all out or we don't get married. And so that was my choice I was given with. I loved him. Of course, I was infatuated, right, in love. So I was like, I'll do anything for you type of thing.
Yeah.
And I did, and I completely stopped everything, cold turkey. That was a change in itself. I had trouble with that. We argued a lot in our marriage because
Okay.
I was like, we would go to work parties or fun things, and there would be drinks, right? And I just wanted like a drink. And so I would like be bugged that I couldn't, like that I didn't have the choice. And so we got in lots of fights about it. I resented him a little bit. Like once, you know, those butterfly stages wear off, you're like, you kind of look at things and you're like, oh, this sucks, you know?
Yeah.
So that was always an issue in our marriage. And then later on, he was like, I was like, I just feel like I'm not free. And he's like, you know what? You do whatever you want. You can be free.
How much time had passed by this point?
Probably 4 or 5 years.
Because it's been seven years, right?
Yeah,
you guys
almost,
okay.
almost
Yeah.
7 together. Yeah, married 6. But yeah, so it was like 4 or 5 years in, and then he finally did that, and I was like, okay, don't gotta tell me twice. Like, first work party, I got my drink, and I started to, you know, drink here and there. It wasn't anything crazy. And then later on, he, you know, dabbled into partying a little bit, and then we both were. And he says he did it for me. Did I force anyone to do it? No.
He probably wanted to have fun too.
Yeah, I think it was honestly the friend, like he saw friends and people at work and that want, you know, partook in that. And it wasn't like, it's not a bad thing, like in moderation. And it's not, you're not a bad person if you do that, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and then he started dabbling in it, and then things progressively got to where they are now
Okay.
in our
All right.
situation. So.
Yeah.
And he has cut it all out completely now during this divorce.
Right.
So he doesn't dabble in it at all anymore. And I don't think it made him truly happy, and it doesn't make everyone truly happy, and that's fine.
Of course.
Yeah.
But everybody should have a choice.
Yes.
In theory.
Yes.
But I understand, like I said, from, you know, it's hard in that situation because you want to be able to have a partner that you can relate to, be with, and do things with,
And feel free.
Yeah, and it sucks that you feel like you have to do it on your own, and that's like you're out on an island by yourself at that point.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow. Sorry.
No, but maybe that's one of the reasons we didn't fully mesh. It's like lifestyles is very important in what you want in your significant other. Next time around, I'm going to look at those things deeper in, like just little things like that, like a different lifestyle. Like either they don't want that at all, then it probably wouldn't work for me.
Yeah.
I mean, not that I would say absolutely no, but like it's just fun to do it together, you know?
Of course.
Yeah,
It's
for
always
sure.
fun to do it together.
Yeah.
Take that and remember that one.
Yeah.
Like I said, no one's be out by themselves. Hey, honey, I'm going out. Okay, see ya. And I call that always the Debbie Downer, like significant other, where one is up and the other one's just kind of like a bump on the log. It's like, how do you guys function that way? I
Yeah.
never understood that. So,
I mean, I don't drink.
right. But it's not about
but-
the drinking. I'm saying, but if you had someone that didn't drink and you had fun together, that's one thing.
Yeah.
Like your
Yeah.
definition of fun. You know, but if one like did something not to an extreme, but just they're missing out, you know, and then you always feel like you're being kind of not judged, but just, you know, a little bit judged.
Yeah.
Honestly.
No, that like sometimes when I have like work events, people are so confused that I don't drink. So I think it makes them feel uncomfortable. So they're like, well, how long have you been sober? And I'm like, what the fuck? Like I just
choose
have
not
never,
to.
I
Yeah.
just never drink.
Yeah.
I mean, I have drank, but I just,
You choose not to.
yeah.
And that's fine too. And
So-
like not even just with drinking, but I feel like anything in that sense of like if it's complete opposite and someone's like, no, I don't want to, like where he was at is like no kind of thing. It's just like,
Well, it's a no-no
Yeah.
when he gives you ultimatums. That's the
Yeah.
no-no. If he goes, you know what, honey, do you from the beginning,
Yeah, that's
whatever,
different.
then
Yeah.
you'd feel like, okay, I love you for this, and you're allowing me to do this. But he knows you're coming home, you're going to be whatever, and it's like not that part doesn't change, but when it's the ultimatums,
And I
that's,
loved when my man drank.
Yeah.
I was like, God, it's so sexy. Like I loved the taste on his.
yeah. If you don't mind me asking, is there a reason why you just don't like it or you don't?
Yeah, I mean, I always try, but it's just not. I haven't found anything that I'm like, oh my gosh, this tastes so good.
Yeah.
And I think I've always been into some type of competitive sport.
Sure.
So anything that's going to hinder my performance, I don't want any part of.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
if it's not strengthening me mentally or physically,
Yeah,
then it's a no-go for me.
for sure. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I like that.
makes sense for her.
But
not for me.
yeah, but everyone else, like
I'm drinking right now.
I don't have any friends. I probably have maybe 2 guy friends that that don't drink at all. But for the most part, everyone in my circle drinks. And they invite me to all the freaking wine things. And I'm like, you bitches just invite me so you can drink my tastings.
Yeah.
But we always have a great time.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you were married, like whose idea was it to try, and how did the conversation happen?
So I was actually, in this last podcast, I was explaining that it wasn't a conversation beforehand. It kind of, we partied and it naturally just happened. And then we woke up and we're on our way home and we're like, oh, that happened. Because like you're intoxicated. Like I was saying, the guilt and the fear and all that kind of goes away.
Yeah.
And then you wake up and you're like, oh shoot, like what'd I just do?
Then it settles in big
Yes.
time, right?
Yeah.
Yes. And so we're like, okay, that happened. So how do we feel about it? You know, and he liked it. And I've talked about this before. It was mainly starting because he enjoyed it. And so I did it more for him. And I originally didn't really care for it, didn't really like it. But as things progressed and the more we did it, the more I liked it.
Okay. So on the first initial time, then what I'm hearing is that he somehow initiated like it?
Yeah, it starts with girls.
Okay.
You know,
yeah, of course.
then-
Did he check in with you before this moment?
We didn't talk about anything
Okay.
like this. It just naturally,
All right.
gradually
'Cause
happened.
I've always fucked up on this shit, man. Let me tell you. I'm just asking, like, truthfully, because it's like they always say,
Yeah, it
"Let the
wasn't-
girl lead, Chris. Let the girl
And
lead."
that's probably what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. Like it was like, you girls should kiss. And
Okay.
we're like, okay. And then we did. And then things just naturally,
Yeah.
progressed.
I hear you.
Yeah. It was
You're-
interesting. But yeah, we both were like, I was obviously agreed to all of it. So I was like, yeah, sure. Like it spiced things up for us in our marriage. It was kind of boring. Things were mundane. And so it spiced it up. I saw the excitement it brought in him.
Okay.
And so I was like, let's do this, you know?
Right, and you're like you said, you've been together at this point for a while, so it's
Yeah.
like you're like you said from the beginning, it's that thing where you're looking for some spark to kind of energize the relationship. So I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving forward and having experienced this, do you think that you would be open to an open relationship going forward?
I don't think so. I feel like it brought nothing, but maybe it was the way it went down because it was an awful
Yeah.
way to go down. But it brought nothing but misery, and it's made me very unhappy. So to go off of that, I would say no. And I've also thought like maybe if you're happy in your relationship and getting those needs fulfilled, I don't know why you'd want to do that unless you're probably missing something. And I've met a lot of people recently that do that, and it works for them, and that's
Yeah.
what they need, and no judgment to them. But I don't know if I would do it again. What if it's made of my life now?
Yeah.
But maybe it was the way maybe I just didn't know because apparently there's a right and a wrong way.
Is there though? I mean,
I
who
don't
knows
know.
these? Is there a rule book
There's
for this?
no
You know,
rules.
so
Yeah.
Oh, God.
yeah, there is no right or wrong way.
It's like what works for one, maybe is not going to work for you.
Yeah.
And vice versa, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can tell you what doesn't work, people. Now, we'll get into that.
Please let me know.
So I'm not sure. It's like-
So do you think there's a potential for the person that you're talking to now?
The guy.
I think
That-
it's cool that you at least have him to, because you guys are in similar situations and to bounce things off of, so you have the shared feeling and emotion.
Yeah. I don't know what will happen from here on out if we'll date. It's hard to say. It's just so messy right now
Yeah.
that it's like that's kind of like not on our mind, and more like we have to get things at least settled first to even make that first
Yeah.
step if we even wanted to. I know I'm sure on his end, but on my end, of course, from other people, they're like, "Don't do it. It'd be toxic. Like you guys started on this," and I get where they're coming from. But that's easier said than done when you have those feelings
You
there.
have a connection.
Yeah, and so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Just take your time with it. So.
I would disagree with what people are saying. I think sometimes we have connections that you can't explain.
Yeah.
So it's an energy.
It is interesting you say that because it is. The thing is I'm like the opposite of his type, and he is the opposite of my type, right? Our typical that we would typically go for. And so it was interesting to both of us that like there was that connection, and I think people from the outside were like, really? Like
Yeah.
you two, like, because from his side they're like, that's not his type, and from my side they're like, that's not your type. So it was just interesting, and it was more like we had a friendship, and I've talked about this before. It was like a built, innocent friendship for those 2 months.
Okay.
And then progressively it got worse and then out of hand. And when you're intimate with someone, and you kind of had a crush, it doesn't help the situation, right? And we all kind of knew that. I mean, everyone knew that we were intimate, like, obviously, because it was, like, open, right?
Right.
But then it progressively got worse, and that's why I got in trouble. And that was an affair at that point.
But this was all in a group setting. Like, was this not to delve into anything, but is it a group of you guys hanging out, or just like, couple, and you guys are just really good friends? And that's what I'm asking right now. So
we would have big parties. I'd have big parties at my house, and then
fun house, man. I meant for the parties, because you always have parties. That's what I meant by that.
Yeah, the parties are really fun, and then I guess you call it after hours, where those people would stay.
Okay.
And we would do those things, and there are several involved.
I wonder if they're having the parties now without you.
They're not. I think everyone kind of like saw that, blew up, learned their lesson, is like, no, thank you.
Man, yeah.
Yeah, but you can't go back. They made those choices too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Right.
they did.
So
I hear you. Oh, man. Well, my head's swelling right now. Just all the like.
what is in your cup?
I'm people for you who know me. I'm drinking Jack and Diet Coke. So yeah,
Nice.
there you go. See, yeah, and I'm a little sad that the party always has to end. So I was like, oh man, because I'm really big on fun parties. Like, and we said after, like, I know after hours. These are great parties. These are fun. So just in general, just having fun with your best friends and people like that. It's like, it's nothing more fun than that. And by the way, nothing more fun than just you having friends that you can just be together, because you love them all, and I understand how this all started and stuff as well. So
Yeah, and I think that's why it ends so badly too. It's
yeah,
like,
and I'm
friends.
sorry that stuff crossed the line, but sometimes that happens as well. I've had some friends that have done that as well, and they've gotten some serious trouble about that. But
Do you see yourself staying in Utah?
Yeah, because of the kids.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to mess with like the long distance, like of them traveling all the time. So yeah. Yeah, but I would be willing to travel a lot. The times I don't have my kids, like I have some trips coming up. So.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Do that as much as you can, by the way.
Yes.
So
I almost feel like, and I say this a lot, but it's the truth. I think a lot of times when we are separated, it makes us better parents.
Really?
Because I'm going to tell you why. Yeah. The reason why is you guys, I'm not advocating divorce. I always get a lot of hate for this, but it's so true. We don't have the breaks. So when you're together, you have your kids 24/7. There's not a lot of me time and not a lot of breaks.
Sure. Yeah.
So it sucks when we have to share, especially around holidays. It's so freaking hard. But there's also those times where you get to rediscover yourself and who you are and who you want to be moving forward. And that makes us such better individuals as a whole, and we're able to pour more into our children. So you miss them. You can't wait to have them home. So the time that you do have with them is going to be so much more meaningful, if that makes sense, versus you have them every day. And we almost get, I don't want to say we get used to our kids, but missing them, like you can't wait to be with them. So your time is just spent in a different way than it was before.
It.
Yeah.
Sure. I get that. I'm actually learning that. Recently, it's been nice to have, it's been really hard, of course, an adjustment, but like those days that I don't have them, I'm getting used to the quietness and being alone and kind of what I like and don't like. It's just already, and it's just been really interesting to like see that. I'm like, okay, like I can get used to this type of thing, and like you're saying is do those things I can work and go do whatever I need to do on those days I don't have them, and then when they're there is like put all that time. And because as a mom, I was with them, like you're saying, 24/7.
Yeah.
And how often was I really with them, right?
Yeah.
Like my head and my mind, I was like probably cleaning with them, right?
Right.
Where this is like, I need to spend this time that I have. So I get it a little bit. Like I'm learning that right now.
Yeah. Plus, you get to find out what you really want to do as Frankie.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
What? She does. You get that time now to figure out what you really want in your life. And that's why when, same reason, I was just like, when they say, oh, it takes a village to raise a kid, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. But then you realize going, oh, wow, it's like that time when you have them away from you, just do what you need to do for you.
Yeah.
And it's great. And I almost feel like every marriage should be like that, where people should just say, hey, you have the kids this weekend, for everyone needs their self-time is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
And like in your situation and all of our situations, when we're with our kids 24/7 like that, there is no split. There is no time to yourself, because who's going to say, hey, you might ask your husband, hey, please take the kids this day, but it's not like once a week for 3 days or 4 days.
Right.
It's a different thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like
and then
it.
sex is better too because the kids aren't there, so you have like your free time, you know, until they move home and they find shit in the trash and they're like,
Oh no.
Asking you who you're going to be dating now. You know,
Yeah.
we don't want you to be by
Oh
yourself
my
anymore.
gosh. I'll tell you a story off air. Like, but yeah, it's just, yeah, I mean, your whole world's going to open up for you, for sure. It's going to be really exciting.
I'm nervous and excited, and like you said, there's some days I'm like, oh, this blows, but.
Right. Yeah, you're in it right now. So, by the way, grandparents, where are the parents?
My parents
yeah.
are down the street from me now.
Okay,
so
good.
That would be
nice.
really good.
Okay.
And they're very close with I'm very close with them. And then his are not too far.
Okay. Okay.
So
That's
a good
good.
support system there with your family?
Yes, a ton. And then I have so my grandmas as well. I have grandmas and then aunts and uncles. So there is a village.
Okay,
around.
good.
I love
That's
it.
good.
Yeah.
And then siblings?
Yeah, my sister's my nanny.
Oh,
so
okay.
she's there like 3 days a week to help us and my ex. So yeah, and then a brother, he's great too. So yeah,
You have a huge support system around you. So
they've been amazing and very supportive during all this. So thank goodness for them when all my friends left, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Do you feel like people have reached out to you and asked for advice? Like they're in similar situations?
Yes, and that's actually been interesting. So my DMs are flooded right now, with either people that wanted to be in an open relationship or that weren't happy in their marriage, and they're like, oh my gosh, I was feeling this and I felt so like I said, it's taboo to come out and say you're not happy, or you have I was calling it the 6-year itch on another podcast, and then everything came out. But or people that are going through a divorce, just like any relatable thing in our situation, or even wanted to do what I did, but couldn't say that out loud without it sounding bad. So it's been very interesting. That's why I want to do more podcasts and speak on it, because it's just to give people that those feelings are valid, and you're not
Yes, they are.
what you do with them is up to them, but that's not bad to feel that or question that in your marriage, right? And especially us getting married and having kids young, it's you do think about things sometimes, and whether people say it out loud or not, they do.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Well, especially at a young age, because you're committing you're so young that you already missing a lot of things in your life. You know, especially when kids come in the next year, like you said, that's already cutting out another so many years.
I feel like you didn't even have time to really, for you guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and it was a honeymoon baby, so we weren't. It was more like whatever happens, and I had always heard it could take a year to have a baby, and that's normal. And so I was like, okay, whatever happens. And I got pregnant pretty fast, so that's our honeymoon baby. So
Okay.
we didn't have a lot of time.
Is that you have a boy and a girl?
Yes.
So was that the boy or
Girl is oldest.
Okay. See, well, you can't have a beautiful baby out of it. There's never
Yeah.
anything bad about that.
And then what is your thought on getting married young? Yay or nay?
I'm gonna go with nay on that.
Okay.
It's hard because if you find the right person, then my parents got married. My mom was done having kids by 23. Had all her kids, married. She only knew my dad a little bit of time, and they're happily married
Today.
still. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you hear stories like that, and they've done great, and they've worked hard at it. It just depends on the situation and those people, you know?
Yeah. I always say there's no right or wrong, but with my girls, I'm like, live life a little.
Yeah.
There's no rush.
That'll be my advice. And I did get that advice, and I didn't take it. So
Yeah.
here we are today.
Right.
But it's okay because that's maybe the space you were in at that time, and now you have 2 beautiful children.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think I'm meant to be where I am. You
I
know?
think so for sure.
But I had to learn the hard way, like I do everything else. Yeah.
So I'm going to backtrack a little bit because, tell us about Mom Talk. How did this start, by the way? I want to know a little bit more about that.
So I started doing mom content on TikTok during quarantine, just by myself, and just innocent mom hacks, whatever you want to call it. And then I brought in a friend to come do it with me. She was my best friend at the time. And then I brought in a third girl, and so we were like a trio.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen us. It's me and the 2 blondes. And so we did a lot of content, and then people were like, oh, the brunette looks way older than them. So I was like, I'm going to pretend I'm their mom. So I don't know if you've heard or seen videos, but we went viral because they believed that I was the mom to these two 25-year-old girls. I was 50.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, and then they had kids, babies, so I was a grandma. And so I went viral for being a grandma. Dr. Oz was like, hey, we want you to come on the show and give your like secrets of looking so young.
Wow.
My management team's like, she's not actually 50, but we're down to go on the show. And so there was a ton of people that actually believed it. So yeah, we started doing trio stuff, and then moms started to reach out that do the same thing in the community. So it just over time grew and grew. We had like 20-something girls at one point. And then it did it's sad because I'm seeing all these moms that did come out. They're like, oh, you wanted to be in Mom Talk till now because all this stuff blew up, right? And they're like, I wanted to be in Mom Talk so bad, I never got the chance. And it wasn't like we were picking and choosing people. It was more like who's reaching out, really trying to come. We're like, yeah, come. But we couldn't invite the whole state. Like, that's unrealistic. We couldn't fit anywhere. And it just, I feel bad for those moms that felt like they didn't make it in. It wasn't like that. It was just more like who was really trying to reach out, and we're like, sure, come, you know.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it ended up turning into a big group, and I don't think it's a thing anymore. Maybe they'll start a new one. Who knows? I won't be in it. I for sure know that. But
you'll start your own group.
I'll start my own. Yeah, like I started one, I can start another.
Who has the rights to the TikTok name then? Is that yours, or
so Mom Talk, we would just all kind of label it on our own.
Okay,
like,
gotcha.
Yeah, so they had their own social
TikToks.
channels.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, but I've had a ton of moms that are like, hey, whenever you're ready, we're ready. So I was like, okay, I'm down to.
See, that's your new core, by the way. We
Yeah.
just had a guest on recently that just said the same thing, where you are now going to find this group of friends where it's because of you, not because of your past or what's happened. They're just they want to be with you.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing, by the way.
Yeah, I hope so, because I think a lot of them, not a lot of them, but a few of them did only become friends with me to get, the clout or whatever you want to call it, and that's fine. And to me, it's like collaboration is for that purpose, like to get names across, and I understand, so I'm not like offended by it or anything, but I think that was it was just more networking rather than friendships.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Mom Talk's going to take off even better now because you have a good group of girls
Well,
around
no,
you.
she's gone. There is no more
I'm sorry.
Mom Talk.
We'll change the name.
There's a few of them that do talk to me, and we have some stuff in the works, so it'll be fun.
Oh, that'll be exciting.
Well, I don't know. I'm giggling. I'm like, that's when you said the name's no more. I go, well, fine. We'll call it Mom Fuck You. Mom Fuck You. That's the one now.
I like that.
Okay. See?
She'll make up her own. More babies? Or
I
you
do.
think-
I do want more.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why I say that, but
Yeah.
I don't think I'm done. I guess if I do find someone,
When you find someone.
when I find someone, I want a baby with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And this person will allow you to be more of yourself anyways. So I'm excited for your future, Taylor Frankie.
me too.
See?
I'm telling you,
Yeah,
yeah.
you got a great future ahead of you. Like, I mean, this is something that by the way, everyone goes through some form of this. I'm not going to lie. We all go through some form of this, whether it be some version, drugs, it's like, it's a whole, it's just one part of the whole.
Yeah.
And so for you to overcome this right now, and once again, what I appreciate is the fact, and I'll keep saying this, that you're getting ahead of this, and we're your other friends now, but you are such a light. And I think this has always been in your makeup of who you are in general. That's why we asked from the beginning, like, how were you before you got married? And I love the fact, I used to party in high school and and that for me was like, great. She already has a fun energy about her, and you continue that path. It just sucks that your partner, which is a learned thing, I'm sure he's a great guy, but it's just, he kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? He put you on hold a little bit. Like he pulled in the reins.
Tried to put you in a box.
Yeah, yes,
And it wasn't going to work for you.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it was a ticking bomb for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So regardless, like I said, just think you'd be looking at this somewhere in your 30s, just going, "What the fuck?" And if you continuously say that, which you've already said you have, it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it wasn't. So.
Yeah, it's really sad to accept that.
I get that.
Because it's like your partner for like 6 years. I'm
Yeah.
like, I can't accept that. But I'm like, you've got to accept this, Taylor. Like, it's just.
Yeah, you do.
Like we're saying, it was gonna, I think, happen regardless of the situation. But yeah.
Well, the best way I could say, and you can probably say yes to this as well, is the fact that 6 years, what you said is like, you have to accept it because you have 2 kids and you guys will be together until those kids are 18 plus.
Yep.
So you got to find a way to get along. That's the easiest way for me to tell you that right now.
Yeah.
I think that I like the fact that you said that says he's forgiven you, whatever. That's a start, and so now and don't put too much guilt or pressure on yourself. You just have to just be able to be a good mom to your kids and be able to be a co-parent with your husband.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing around it. Everything else will be easy at this point.
I completely
Yeah.
agree, and that's what we're working on now.
Right.
So it's good.
Because you will definitely have no problem finding anyone, girl. I can tell you that.
I don't know.
And then I just say, hi, hey, what's up? Yeah.
Oh my God.
Gotta keep it light. What? I'm just saying, Jamie always scolds me for that stuff. This is why I have our guests sit right next to
He
me.
tried to have one of our guests sit on his lap. I said,
Okay,
get the
you
hell
know
out
what?
of here.
she was a good guest and she was awesome. And I just love her anyways. And so yeah, she was good. And I already knew her, so that's why I kind of
That's
put
true.
that out.
You did
Yeah.
already know her, but still.
All right, so Taylor, tell us what's next for you. Like just off the blue, what are you working on? What does Taylor want out of her life right now at this moment?
I'm trying to focus on work. So I guess with TikTok, I have a lot of collabs coming up, and
Good.
then I have some. I don't know how I should say this. Okay, what had happened was not to get on TV. I will say that was not the case. I unfortunately had to come out and say that. People think because I got auditioned for The Real Housewives, that was the goal here. It wasn't. But I do have quite a few producers that I'm meeting with. So I don't know where that will go.
Okay.
I've met with producers before, so there's a few that I will be talking to. So we'll see. I don't know. You know, those are just interviews, so I can't really say much about that.
Yeah.
Would I be open to the idea? Yes. I would love to know like more details about it, but I would be open to TV. I love entertainment. Clearly, like I just love entertaining. So if that were to be an option, I would do that.
Right. It kind of fits in with everything you're doing because you started like the content, so it's the next step, honestly. So don't feel like don't put yourself in that thing of like, well, maybe just own it. You know, I think you'd be amazing at it.
You can create whatever you want.
Yeah, you have a great personality.
I just feel like everyone's like, oh, this was the whole plan for this whole thing is fake because you want to be on TV, and that's just clearly wasn't the case.
I'm sorry. I had to stop you. Who are these people?
I guess you're right.
Thank you. Who are these people? I'm sorry. Is this your mom telling you this?
Yeah, here
is this your kid telling you this?
The opinions of others
screw
mean
them.
nothing.
You're right.
Nothing.
Right. They're not the ones who are paying your
And
bills in the long
second-
run.
Oh, they are
second-
though. The haters are.
The second you
Good
don't
point.
have
Good
haters
point.
is the second you should probably be like, oh shit.
Something's wrong.
No one's watching
Yeah.
me now.
Yeah, if they're not talking shit, you're not doing shit.
Yeah.
But I love that fact that we've been through these past few episodes where it's that thing where we take on everyone else's thought process of what they're thinking of us, and it's not like they don't know anything. They don't know. They're just mad because
All
they're
they
not
know
doing
is
it.
what you share.
Yeah, thank you.
So there's so
Yeah.
much more to your life that people have no clue.
Yeah.
So I laugh. Like social media, I'm like, you only see what I allow you to see.
Sure, I love that.
So
Exactly.
like the most important things in my life, they don't make the highlight reel on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Like I never post my children. No one knows what they really look like.
Yeah.
No one knows. A lot of people don't even know that I have them.
Yep.
Yeah. I didn't. I learned this today.
Just
Yeah.
look at her. Does
And
she
then-
look like she
No,
right?
that's
And then
why I
when
was
they
like-
see them, they're
Oh.
like, wait a minute. And they're trying to do the math. And I'm like, they're my life. But I don't put them out there like that. But that's, that was me and a choice that I made.
Great choice.
So
It was a good choice.
Yeah.
They're
For
for
beautiful
me at that
girls.
time, like that's what worked and what I needed to survive. And so, yeah.
I like that.
But
I get it. Yeah, and you're right.
Yeah.
People don't know so much,
Yeah.
and they never will, and that's okay.
And it can make you feel really
Yeah.
heavy. So just always tell yourself that, like one thing I always say is like, yes, here, read it, look at it,
and then let it go.
yeah, exactly.
And
Because-
anyone that's negative, delete and block. Don't even respond and give them the time of
Right.
day.
Oh yeah. And see, on TikTok, I want to keep them because they help me.
well, then,
You're like,
see,
yeah.
then you're a smart business person. You're doing the
Yep.
right business.
Yeah.
Lisa Ball, there's no one watching her TikTok.
Yeah,
sorry,
when-
mom fuck you.
Literally,
you.
if you're filtering those out, I mean, I wouldn't. It helps you.
Yeah.
I keep them like, please come at me.
I love it.
All right, you ready to answer? We're going to ask a question today for you. You have to start this one off, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Christopher and Jamie, love you both. So here's my question. My boyfriend and I have been together for about 2 years now. We're obsessed with working out and eating healthy. Over the last 6 months, he started to eat a lot of junk food and has gained about 30 pounds. I constantly go to the gym and maintain a healthy physique, but he doesn't want to work out as much as he used to and just wants to watch TV and hang out. Honestly, it is turning me off. Is it me or is there something else going on? I want my hot bod bad boy back.
Oh.
Wow. All right. What do you think about that?
To me, I wouldn't care.
Okay.
I would say that I kind of dealt with that in real life. And I feel like it doesn't have anything to do with the girl, maybe, but like I feel like I never, when someone was like my partners or significant other would do that, it wouldn't matter. And if that's how they want to eat and they live, then I think they should.
Okay.
You know, and if I wanted to do that, I would hope that I wouldn't be judged for it. But if it's a turn off, see, it was never a turn off to me because I'm like, that's your life. You want to live that way? Do it. And then I can't say I don't go off physical looks, but for me, it's like how I'm treated and emotionally. So something like that wouldn't bother me.
Okay.
But as long as I'm taking care of myself, I don't really care what you're doing to your body.
But what if you weren't attracted to his body that way?
Like when you met him at first, is what you're
I
saying.
like dad bods, though.
Okay.
You do?
I do.
Hey,
that is
girl.
true.
Hey,
I've
what's
talked
up?
about it, and that is true. So it wouldn't bother me.
Yeah.
Like a gut doesn't bother you?
A little, like, no, not really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dad, although I feel like a lot of girls like dad bods.
I don't have a dad bod. I'm trying to stay away from my dad bod.
A lot of girls do like dad bods. Yeah.
I do like fit too. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, who wouldn't? I don't like too fit.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of like the
But-
6-pack chiseled.
Too much.
I need like someone to toss me around. And,
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I need to rest my head and have a little like fluff, I guess.
Yeah, I agreed.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what's your answer to this one? That's a good answer. Thank you.
I kind of like her answer.
Okay.
Like, I'm not in charge of you, and if that's, but I feel like if he's getting like unhealthy, then I would probably speak up a little bit, only in terms of health. But again, his body is choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. It's like that thing where first and foremost, it's the health factor. Like if 2 months, 30 pounds in 2 months, that's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
You know, so unless he's going to be trying out for
Well, how
some
did he do
fitness,
that?
whatever, and he's going to slim
Like a
down.
sumo
But
wrestler?
also you should know you're a person at that point. You should ask him is there some maybe stress? Is there something that he's depressed or sad? Because these are all reasons for
Yeah.
to gain that much weight in that short
Sure.
amount of time.
Yeah.
And especially sitting in front of the TV and just eating junk food, there's more issues than just him gaining weight. There's something underlying all that. So I think that you need to probably talk to him, which I'm sure you probably have. And if he's just giving you, oh, I'm good, I'm okay, I don't know, then you probably need to just figure it out. Throw out all the junk out of the house.
Yeah.
Start making healthy
The food
dinners again.
starts disappearing.
Yeah. Lock the cabinets, girls. So, but figure it out. But first and foremost, ask him because it sounds like more of a deeper issue.
It sounds personal to him.
It does, yeah.
And not
Right.
her.
Anything to do with her,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
internal.
Has he
So
lost?
yeah, maybe that would spark like the conversation. Like, hey, what's going on with you? Like,
Yeah,
how's your head? How's your heart?
Hopefully it's not a loss in the family or something weird. You know, it could be
I mean,
anything
hopefully
that
she would
creates
know.
that. Yeah, well, that's
Yeah.
true. So I'm hoping that you read more of the signs than just your selfishness of him wanting to be hot again.
Yeah.
So, right. All right. Well, so Taylor, I'm going to call you Frankie. Do you anything that you want to plug? I know that we've spoken a lot and thank you for coming. Is there anything you want to plug? Let's talk about your, well, you have a new TikTok now or what's going on with that? So,
Yeah, it's the same.
It's the
okay.
same
So
one.
please let everyone know where they can find you.
My TikTok is Taylor Frankie Paul, and Instagram is the same as well. So all the same, Taylor Frankie.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Jamie.
Yes. Yeah.
What do you have to plug today? You always have something going on.
Yeah. So check out the Eco Cabins in Zion. They were gracious enough to host me this past week. So we'll put a video up there so you guys can check them out. Yeah, we had an amazing time.
Yeah, it
it was
looks
really
beautiful.
cool.
It looked so fun.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
so
I'll share the
amazing.
contact with you because yeah, it's an amazing place to get away.
The way that it was shot, it just makes anyone would want to go there. It was such a
Really?
beautiful. Oh my God, the way that that
Thing
yeah,
goes
like
up.
the garage door opening, whatever, unbelievable.
Oh,
So
gross.
right, maybe I was just looking
The
at your butt
garage
as you're.
door.
So I'm looking at her butt as she's
Oh
open.
my
Like, who's butt? Oh,
God.
it's Jamie. I was like, God dang, don't look at that. So anyways, guys, you can find me at Pet Sport or anything dating intelligence. And once again, another great show. Chase, thank you back there for manning the producing part of this show today. And Taylor, Frankie, thanks for coming on and thank you for sharing your story.
I feel like we were rushed, so at some point I'd love to have you
Yes.
back and check in on you,
a
like
definite check-in.
and see where you're at and how life is.
I would love to. Thank you guys so much
So,
for having me.
Yeah,
You're very
thank
welcome.
you.
All right, guys, it's another show, and thanks again for coming out and watching our show. Thank you.